All right, my Sagittarius friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing your monthly horoscope for August of 2020. We've got a jam-packed month, pretty exciting energy that's going on. All right, we've got a grand fire trine from the 10th to the 22nd that's going to really be firing it up. You're a fire sign, Sagittarius. You know what I'm talking about. This is that good energy. It's almost like a flashback to what happened in 2017. If you remember 2017, of course you do. But there was a beautiful fire trine that was happening for a while between Uranus, Saturn, and the North Node, where this one's going to be between Mars, the South Node, and the Sun, okay, for about 12 days. And it's going to be very, very powerful energy, again, rising us up, really like empowering us, okay? It's a very empowering month, the month of August, all right? So for you, a lot of what's going on in Sagittarius world is between finances, okay, your house, your home where you're living, your kingdom, if you will, and what you're valuing is creating a tension aspect to personality, okay? I'll get into it. Let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about here, all right? So on the 3rd of the month, we have a full moon here in Aquarius, okay? 2 days from now. Full moon right around noon, 11:58 p.m., I believe. Okay. Full moon in Aquarius is your 3rd house. Okay. So the moon's going to move into your 3rd house. This is about information. This is about knowledge. Okay. So where the sun is in this place of philosophy, travel, worldly knowledge, okay, worldly experiences, it's highlighting you and your personal experiences. Okay. So it's taking from the collective, taking from all these bits and pieces of this person, that person, what you've been taught throughout the years, and helping to find things to make a new understanding in your personal life, okay? So that's the 3rd. On the 4th, all right, Mercury is going to leave the sign of Cancer and jump into the sign of Leo, okay? Slowly start catching up with the sun. This is good. We've been, it's very emotional, okay? Everything's been very emotional for the past couple of months, especially with Mercury retrograde. So Mercury jumping out of Cancer into the sign of Leo is a very positive aspect. And again, adding that communication, insight, intuition into knowledge. Again, that worldly knowledge we're talking about where the sun's at, okay? And then Mercury's going to rip right out of here. It's going to be there for 15 days, and then it's going to enter the sign of Virgo on the 19th. Okay, and then the sun's going to follow right after on the 22nd. Okay, so Virgo is your 10th house. So Mercury moving through your 9th house. This is like, look, I need to collect as much information as possible. Okay, change, my personal point of view, my perspective on things. And then we're really going to be focused on career after that. Okay, very positive. On the 7th, Venus now is going to enter the sign of Cancer. Okay, where Venus actually really loves to be in Cancer. It's a nice place for her to be. Venus is everything we want, love, and desire, and as well as what we value in life, right? We're talking about this over here, what we value in life. And for Venus to enter Cancer is a lovely place for it to be. We have a ways for it to go before it's going to start creating all of these squares, or oppositions, excuse me. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in extent in the daily readings, okay? So Venus moving into the sign of Cancer is a lovely place for Venus to be. It's more expressing about emotions. And for you, this is about what? This is your 8th house of shared resources, okay? So Venus moving into your 8th house, this is about loving what's mine, loving what's yours, loving what's ours together, what we have collectively together accumulated, okay? So very, very powerful and a lovely place for it to be for you, my Sagittarius friends. Let's see here. Now, we're going to have, in the month of August, okay, Mars here is going to start to square Jupiter, square Pluto, square Saturn, and then come September, I believe September 11th or 12th, don't want to get too far ahead, but then Mars is going to retrograde, okay? And then it's going to hit these squares again, and then one final time as Mars leaves its retrograde and wants to jump out here. But that's not going to happen until December and January of next year. Okay, it's going to be there for a very long time. So these squares that are happening right now between, my personal finances, my money, my things, my material possessions, and that which I value, Mars is over here in Aries. Okay, these are both cardinal signs, very strong forces. Okay, Mars here, home and cardinal sign of Aries, creating this square to Jupiter. Okay, that's going to be on the 4th. All right, then on the 13th, we're going to square Pluto. And on the 24th, we're going to square Saturn. Okay, so that's, we got a little bit of distance between each. Mars is a slow moving planet, and it's really starting to slow down toward the end of the month as well. All right, so this is all about balance. This is your creative self-expression. Okay, this is how you express yourself to others, who you are. All right, it's kind of the sun's place there in 5th house. All right, so there's something about the way that we're expressing our personality. And for you, my Sagittarius friends, because Mars is in the 5th house of that creative self-expression, something that's going to be a theme that's going on for the rest of the year is overexerting. And it's a Sagittarius thing too. I mean, you're ruled by Jupiter, which is lovely. But this can be like, I'm really going out there and I really want this to happen. I really want to push forward. Okay. That's Mars' job, is to push. However, that might not necessarily, because we have this balancing act going on here for the next 6 months. It's about the personality and knowing when to tuck it in. Okay. Sometimes we walk around with an energetic hula hoop, as I like to call it, and we're ourselves are unaware that this, this ball or this big, circle, when we're entering other people's energetic spaces, whether it's communication or anything, we want this circle to expand and bigger, and it's just like we're learning all of this beautiful knowledge, we're absorbing all of this great stuff, and we're embodying it, and we're changing who we are, and then it's like this. Every time we enter not every time, but, we can enter conversations or we can enter a space and we're hitting people with our energetic hula hoop and we are unaware that we're entering into their personal space. Okay. So there's something going on here about learning to balance our own ego. All right. We're learning to balance our own ego and how do you want to say this? Because everything, again, where things are starting to move up for you. Venus moving into your 8th house, Mercury moving into your 9th and your 10th house is, again, moving towards your career. So how you conduct yourself, how the ego conducts itself over the month of August is going to play an effect on your career and how people view you, And this is, again, dealing with some sort of finances as well and money. So there's this... this tendency to urge or exert this energy to push forward. But at the same time, the balance, it's between Aries and Capricorn. Okay. The Aries energy wants to move forward. And the Capricorn energy is saying you're not prepared enough. You're not prepared enough to do what you want to do. And I'm not saying this just to you as a Sagittarius. I'm saying this as an overall energy for the rest of 2020. We don't have enough experience to move forward with what we want to do. Saturn and all of the planets, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter are saying we need to hone in on our skills. We need to practice patience. There's no rushing a healing. You can't rip the scab off and expect it to be, it's just like, well, now it's just going to scab again. We're prolonging, which is quite the opposite effect of what we're trying to accomplish. So this energy is going to be here for the entire month of August. Again, this is a balance of when am I ready to move forward and say this? When am I ready to move forward and do this? Or when do I need to think about how my finances and what I value in life are going to be affected by my ego it's not just about ego expression. This is like, it's like you're a Sagittarius, the centaur, right? It's, it's like the bow and arrow, and Mars is the arrow, and it's this release, so there's this release, and I want to move forward in that direction, and this is where I want to go, and this is what I want to do, and there's nothing stopping me from getting it done. What's stopping us is the Capricorn energy. Again, it's about preparation, making sure that we have all the tools that we need to get the job done, making sure that we have the smarts, the education, that the philosophy that we're learning with the sun in the 9th house, with Mercury entering the 9th house, and then moving into your 10th house of career, how people view you. It's extremely important that you're viewed as the philosopher that you are, and not an individual who's rushing to get to the top of the staircase before they have everything, just skipping steps along the way. We will see this. Everybody sees this. It's like, oh, you're a step skipper. A step skipper. Came out backward. Anyway, so it's just about paying attention to our energy, about paying attention to when we're wanting to push to get something that we want. This is my ego, my things, my possessions, my goods. So there's really interesting energy that's going on for you this month. Okay, we'll come back to the chart here for a second. This is really the meat of the month, okay? On the 22nd, the sun will enter your 10th house, okay? This is about career. This is about public image, again, how people view you. So what happens at the beginning of the month and how well we're balancing out these energies right here, and how we're balancing our urges and tendencies to rush ahead, okay? Will be seen, and it's going to play an effect on our finances. Okay, slow and steady wins this race, my Sagittarian friends. Lastly, I want to talk about Eris here. Okay, now there's going to be a video at the end of this. I talk about Pluto square Eris. This happens for the next couple of years. Okay, Mars is going to conjunct Eris here in August, as well as 2 more times throughout this year. And Eris is the goddess of discord. Okay. Remember, Mars is about action. Aries is about action. We've got Chiron there as well. Again, still in your 5th house, healing the ego. And Eris' job is for us to look at information. How do we respond to information that's given to us? How are we responding to others that are giving information to us? It doesn't matter if it's an attaboy or an attagirl or a bad job, or we got to tighten something up over here, or whatever it may be. So the mythology is Eris gave the 7 muses an apple that said to the most beautiful one. And then they bickered amongst themselves and they fought, right? And is a very unbeautiful chain of reactions, chain of events that happened there after this apple was presented. So the apple, the presentation of the apple, again, is this a concept or an idea or something or communication, something to us, and then we respond. Now we're responding, no, I'm the most beautiful, no, I'm so Mars connecting with Eris, okay, are we responding with aggression? Okay, Mars is known to be an aggressive planet. Mars is one of the bad boys with Pluto and Saturn, and those are the 3 bad boys. I've been calling these bad boys here with Jupiter up here, but Jupiter's the happy-go-lucky. He's the king. He's the king, this big happy king of the zodiac. Mars, the Phobos, fear. One of the moons is named Fear. Fear and terror, I believe, are the moon's names for Mars. Okay, so there's aggression, there's anger. So are we responding with anger? Right? How are we responding when people communicate with us, when the ego is being tested? And your ego will be tested this, not just in August, but through the remainder of this year. It's not a bad thing. Okay, this is about, Jupiter wants to expand, but there's a limit to that expansion, and that's Saturn's job to reel it in and say, look, if you blow up your balloon past this, if I blow up my hands past this, they go off the screen. If you blow up your balloon past this, poof, it's gonna pop. I don't want you to pop. That's what the energy of the universe is saying. It's like, I don't want you to pop. I don't want you to overinflate yourself. So there's a balance here. There's a right kind of buoyancy, and it's going to be this year, the next 6 months, that are figuring this out, that buoyancy for self, okay? And when to rush, when to act, when to hold it back, how to respond, how are we responding to others? Are we responding with peace and love, like the philosopher that you are? Or responding with aggression and anger, okay? So these are all things that are coming up this month. all in all, it is an absolutely beautiful month because of how much change and growth is coming up to us, okay? This is also pre-Mars retrograde. Mars retrogrades are very difficult. We'll talk about that more as the month moves ahead, leading into September. Very difficult. Last time it happened, I believe, was 2018 in wintertime, and it was in Aquarius. It was Aquarius to Capricorn, Mars, all right? So different energy with Mars being home in Aries. There's that assertive, let's go, let's get things done. It's just like we need to get there in 7 minutes, but it's a 10-minute drive. So we're setting ourselves up for expectations that are unreachable, unobtainable goals. Okay, part of our balance. And what's financially feasible? What do I value? And then how do I express myself within these boundaries? Because there are boundaries within the laws and limits of Capricorn and Saturn that we have to obey. Okay, so a huge month of growth ahead. I'm very excited for you, very excited for all of us. Here we go, let the Mars square Capricorn energy begin. All right, it's going to be some good stuff. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for the dailies.